Once in a quiet little town lived an old woman named Grace. She had silver hair, gentle hands, and a heart full of warmth. She lived alone, but never seemed lonely. Every day she smiled at her neighbors, fed the birds, and hummed as she swept her porch. People would wonder, how is she always so happy? One day, a young woman named Emily came to her. Emily was upset. She had 2 kids, a husband working far away, and bills she couldn't pay. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I don't know how much longer I can take this." Grace looked at her gently and said, "Tell me, Emily, what do you believe will happen next?" Emily replied, "I keep thinking the worst, that he won't come back, that I'll fail, that I'll lose everything." Grace nodded slowly. "That's a heavy way to live," she said. "Our thoughts are like seeds. If we plant fear, we grow doubt. But if we plant hope, we grow strength." Emily asked, "But how do you stay hopeful when everything feels like it's falling apart?" Grace smiled. "Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, I lost everything in 1 year. My husband, my job, my home. I sat on a bench, cold and scared, thinking I had nothing left. Then a stranger sat next to me. She said, 'You still have your mind, your heart, your light.' She told me to protect that light, to feed it with good thoughts, even when the world felt dark." I didn't believe it at first, but the next morning I tried. I said, "Today something good will happen." I kept saying it every day. Slowly, things began to change, not because the world changed, but because I did. Emily listened quietly. Grace looked at her and said, "You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control what happens inside you." Emily left that day with a lighter heart. The next morning, she whispered to herself, "Today, something good will happen." She smiled, even if it felt forced. She took care of her kids. She looked for work. She kept going. Weeks passed, and then a letter arrived. Her husband had found a job. Money was coming in. She ran back to Grace's porch, smiling through happy tears. "It's working," she said. "I feel strong again." Grace smiled and said, "That's the power of thinking light, even in the darkest moments." Soon, more people in town started visiting Grace. They shared their worries, their fears, and Grace always gave the same advice: think good thoughts, say them out loud, and believe in your light. From then on, every morning, you could hear people in that little town whispering to themselves, "Today, something good will happen." Thanks for listening to this story. Go ahead